So not my brightest move ever. I narrowly avoided having to take a spare bus. I do not need any Celsius purists coming at me in the comments. So we're gonna chalk that up to a failure. Okay, so I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is 171 is still right here. I narrowly avoided having to take a spare bus on the afternoon of the first day. It's still Monday the 4th. This is right after the previous video, which will be up before this one. But the good news is I'm still on 171. The bad news, well, let me just see if I can show you. So back here, yeah, so you see there's a bit of water there and a bit of water there on the floor and quite a lot of water in this seat and a puddle right there. Now that doesn't look like much on its own, but if I go up here, see, we got some dripping going on, a little bit of dripping right there. Remember how I said that back a little while ago, one of our trainers who trained me drove this bus. So her bus is in the shop getting warranty work done, her 2025. So because she was familiar with this bus, she's in the middle of training somebody, so during the middle of the day she just borrowed this bus. I don't have a problem with that. So she then told me in a phone call that she had to take my bus to the shop because it had a massive water leak going on. So what I pieced together from this conversation was the water I just showed you is about 10% of what actually came in. Most of it has dried up. Apparently somewhere in this region there was a crazy water leak going on that flooded like this entire seat, down the floor, the walkway, up under this seat, across this seat. Now that's problematic because it's supposed to be raining off and on for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, and she also said there's leaks up by the windshield, the same as 99 was doing. I'm not entirely surprised by that part. What I am surprised by is the fact that I had Lake Michigan going on back here. So I don't know if they were able to fix it and then put 171 back here, or if they just said that's a very long project and we'll save it, and they just stuck the bus back out here so I could still have it. I don't know. But it's supposed to rain tomorrow morning, so I'll probably find out. Right, so what we're gonna do today is, it's 2 o'clock. I'm gonna start pre-tripping this thing and putting this thing's a little bit loose, which is probably why it keeps falling down. I'm going to, I feel like an idiot. I still didn't get my license plate. Darn. Okay. I also realized this morning, editing, the video from this morning when I was editing, I failed to mention this switch here, which is a traction control / diff lock switch. Never in my life used one on a school bus, so I'm not entirely sure how they work. But I have all paved roads, so it probably doesn't matter, I would think. Let's get this thing out of the way. Cool. Where's my paper towels? Yeah, I prefer filming in the daytime like this. I do the morning stuff occasionally just to, I don't know why I did that, just to change things up. But in the morning, there's always people idling around you, and it's dark as crap, and you can't see anything, and you can't hear what I'm saying, you can't see, and because it's so early in the morning, my brain cells haven't fully woken up, so I'm not very good at like actually talking while I'm doing things. I'm a little bit better at it later in the day. All right, let's check the oil. Still looks good. This thing is at a weird angle. Like 99's kind of sat like this, whereas this one's like down here right next to this pipe. So I can't quite get it back in as easily. But not to worry, we'll make it work. Power steering fluid's good. Wires, hoses, all the shenanigans. Eyeball down here. You can tell it wasn't long ago that this thing was greased because you can still see the purple color to it. Once that stuff sits there a while, it'll kind of slowly turn black. Tire looks good. Not showing any drastic leaks. Okay, I think everything on this side's fine. Check the fan belt since I can reach it better from this side, and make sure this thing's not about to fall off. No, it's not. So we'll come back over here. That's just rainwater. It absolutely flooded earlier. I went home and didn't have to go to my other job today, so I ended up editing this video. Not this video, the previous video. And air filter looks good, coolant looks good, belt. And yeah, it absolutely started pouring down. Which is part of how they found that window issue, but I guess they resolved it. I should know better than to try to talk while there's a engine fan right next to me. Slow close. Try to get it back down. Ooh, lots of bugs in the radiator. Are you gonna... The thing doesn't even sit perfectly straight. Okay. So that's a first. Come on. This is what I'm talking about, or what I was talking about this morning. The fact that with these soft close things, you can't... There's a frog over there going to town. With the soft close thing, you have to like yank the hood to try and get it closed. I'm not okay with how much that flops around, because that's usually a sign that the latch is slowly wearing out. And if I learned anything from driving Bliss 99, it's that that is the worst part of a C2. What was wrong with this? Like, watch, you have to take this metal latch on this one and rotate it, and then it comes up. Why didn't they just make that over there? Why do they have to be different? Just make this latch, but like there, and you can still hinge it that way. I don't understand it. I don't understand. This latch could probably survive a grenade. That one will not. This one, most of the time, won't survive a dirt road. But anyway. Let's go back here. So, 99 supposedly is on the road with somebody right now. Make sure that's closed. But I don't know that for certain. I don't know that for certain. I will try to pay a little visit to her when I can find her. Who the heck was sitting here that's... Go down. Alright. Give me power, please. And I'm gonna close this because I can't stand the noise outside of other buses. It's not that bad to me, but I watched the GoPro recordings back and it's always drowning me out, which I don't understand. My voice is right here. That bus is way the heck over there. But I don't know. All right. what was I doing? Oh yeah, startup. Eyeball everything. We've got higher than 12 volts, just, so we're good to go. And they left my air conditioning stuff on, which is totally fine. It's just I guess an OCD. I'm not OCD except with these. I always turn everything off when I park, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm weird. I also noticed it immediately went into fast idle without me pushing the switch, which makes me wonder if it can take fast idle when it wants it, regardless of what I say, and if the switch won't make it go back to low idle for when I'm shutting down, which technically you don't have to do that, but I do because it just feels wrong to not do it. Then what is the point of this switch? Thomas, what is the point of this switch? Make it like on a charter coach. Have you guys ever looked at a charter coach? Okay, the fast idle switch on those is immediately obeys whatever you say, regardless of whether it's the right thing or not. Now, that being said, when I look around at some of the other drivers we have here, I'm like, okay, maybe we kind of do need to cater to stupid people. But I'm like, I don't know. All right, let's air condition. I love me some air condition. Except I can't point it at me right now because it'll make the GoPro sound weird. Don't ask how I figured that out. Alright, let's clock in routes. Now, these things weren't working right this morning, and I had to punch 99's number in the route computer to make it pull up the correct route. See, like, it thinks I'm driving 171 PM, which would be right if the office computer correctly made the change. But when I go to start route, see, none of that is right. So what I'm gonna do, under the assumption that the computer's not working correctly, is just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna punch in 99's old route number, which should not bring up anything because 99 is now a spare bus, so there should not be a 99 route in this computer, but there is, because the computer in there that this thing synchronizes with has not correctly made that change yet, and I'm not sure why, but they said they were working on it this morning, so we'll just go with it. So we'll go, no, not 171, take 99 PM, resync data. I'm really just doing this as a precaution. I don't think it's doing anything. It's not going to notify my kids or anything in the app that we're coming, I think. Yeah, okay, see, that's the correct route information, but it's on the wrong number. Would have been the correct number if it was last year, but it's nothing I'm saying right now is making any sort of sense. I didn't get a sticky pad for that, but I meant to do that, so I'm gonna go down here and grab the tape of duck. There you go. This is how I did this last year. If I can remember how to do it. Alright, so I need a very short piece of duct tape, and then I need to roll it so that it's a double-sided thingy-mabobber. I should probably hold it out here so y'all can see what I'm doing. Well, I'm trying. There we go. Use the steering wheel to my advantage. No! You pelican! Why did it do that? Oh. Let me do it on this thing and maybe it'll... Okay, there's that side. Okay, I'm sorry. I need to do this in my lap so it doesn't move. Okay, so we get a double-sided roll tape like that. And then I took it right there and stuck it down. And that's not working. The tape's coming back up. Well, okay. So we're gonna chalk that up to a failure. And I'm just gonna not deal with that right now. Cool. Well, that was a wasted 5 minutes of a video. May edit that out, may not. Kind of depends. There's a lot of stuff I look at in this video, in videos like this, that I think I should edit that out, and then I don't, and then I'll have somebody comment and say they liked that segment of the video. So I'm like, I don't know. I've never been able to find that balance between what's the mundane stuff to edit out and what's the long format stuff that you guys seem to like. I don't know. I've never known exactly what I'm doing. I just kind of wing it and hope that somebody likes it. Okay. Strobe, headlights, markers, hazards, ambers. According to that thing they're on. Not like I can see them because I don't have full circle mirrors anymore. So we'll go to reds. Door switch to open, pressurize it. That was unnecessarily violent, but okay. And we'll go out here. Blinky blink. Tires. Is that marker on? Off? I think it's off. Because I can see those from far away. I can't see that one. Okay, so we've got a marker light out. Right rear marker light out. Everything on the back looks good. So we'll go around here. I can't see the markers up there because they're so little. Yeah, the markers over here are good. See, that's what it should look like. And then I come over here and it doesn't. So that's okay. We can run without it, but I definitely need to remember it. Because when we get to my next service date, I can write it up and get that fixed. But it's not the end of the world for right now. I've also got a marker light out right there. And it was also coming out of its slot. Dadgummit. Okay, well that's not great. I forgot to look at the hood light. Yeah, it's good. Crossing gate. All right, everything up front looks fine. Step light, step light. Okay, so I've got a right rear marker light, the red one is out, and a front left orange one right there is out. Now, I'm kind of curious because I counted during my route, these stop signs take like 14 seconds to get all the way in. That is way too long. So that is definitely going to get written up. And hello, bad hair day. But I'm also kind of wondering because when they were trying to find those water leaks, they found some up here. which is the same thing 99 did. So I'm wondering if they unbolted anything up here to get in there and find the leak or seal it, if they had to disconnect that light and then maybe just didn't plug it back up. Especially since it was sitting about that far out of the slot. I'm kind of wondering, but I don't know. I would like to point out something I noticed. 99's door handle went this way. It wasn't like this. Because I kept wondering, every time I reached to close the door out there, I'm like, I'm grabbing for nothing. I'm grabbing at the wrong spot. And I'm like, why do I keep doing that? It's because the handle moved. And I didn't notice. So, pressurize that. 230, perfect timing, good to go. Just walk through here. I would like to point out the fact that it is nice and cool in here, and I am currently running the cabin air condition at medium power. I cannot tell you how happy that makes me, because I know it's gonna warm up when I get all the kids in here. That's okay. Just crank it up to high, freeze them to death. I love having good air conditioning on a bus. Like I said, I love 99 with all my heart, but her air condition left a lot to be desired. So yeah, especially when it's been this hot outside, I'm very good. Well, it's actually, I say that, it's down in the 80s right now because of the rain and stuff we're getting this week, but it was up in the high 90s, close to the hundreds. It was, if you factor in like the feels like, the humidity and whatnot, it was past 100 Fahrenheit. And before some of you come at me in the comments, yes, I use Fahrenheit because I'm in America, not working in a scientific field, and most of my audience, as in like 99.3% of them, if I'm remembering the YouTube stats correctly, is in the US. So I'm speaking in terms that most of my audience can understand. I do not need any Celsius purists coming at me in the comments. You can take that garbage and take it somewhere else. Right. It is time for us to get underway. I need to fill this out real quick. Okay. Pre-trip shenanigans are done. I thought I was going crazy because my seat moved. Make sure all my mirrors are still good. Yep, we're good to go. Cool. Stand on the brake. Watch my air tanks. They should level off, which they have. Cool. Go to drive. Give it a nudge. Make sure the brakes actually stop me. And I'm very close to the bus next to me, so I'm gonna wait half a second before I start turning. Make sure I don't tail slap him in the face. And away we go. Easy peasy. It's kind of strange. I'm not used to being in a 21 yet, because I keep, like, I see all the 18, 19, 20 buses, and I'm so used to just glancing at them and going, oh, there's the younger buses. But they're actually technically older than the thing I'm driving now. I'm still not used to that. But I really am liking this new bus, to be honest. Newer bus. I know we all love 99. I do too. But there was some stuff I never brought up on camera that, like, I could just tell she was aging. Like, imagine, I'll put it to you like this, okay? Imagine you're a teenager and you jump from a trampoline onto the ground. You could probably do that and get up and immediately be fine. Compare that to if you were in your 40s or 50s and you jumped from a trampoline onto the ground. you could probably do it, but you wouldn't spring back up full of life immediately. You would kind of grunt and it would take you a little bit longer to recover, just because you're not a spring chicken anymore. Which, and I'm sorry, that sounded really harsh. No offense to anybody watching that's in that age range, but that's just an analogy, because that's kind of what it felt like driving 99. It was like every time I hit a pothole, she didn't just kind of and recover. It was almost like you could sense her groaning. Like she was just like, ugh, okay, and kind of kept going. You know, and that may make no sense, but when you drive the same bus for long enough and you know its quirks and you know its personality, you start to pick up on subtle stuff like that that other people might not ever notice. And it was, you know, little stuff like that that I could tell she was kind of ready to have a break, which doesn't really happen when you become a spare bus, because, you know, when you're a fresh spare bus, you're immediately the nicest spare bus, so you kind of get to go everywhere. But I'm sure she's enjoying seeing some new scenery besides the same old stuff. I'm sure this bus is enjoying seeing some scenery. This bus works for the same middle school that I'm at, and then did the neighboring elementary stuff, but the routes were not quite in the same areas as I am now. So, and it didn't go to the high school. And then it went to a middle school on the other side of the county, and I believe it did go to the high school. So now it goes to the original middle school and the high school and my route. That also probably made no sense, but just go with it. So sitting at this red light, I'm now wondering, as we come up to the overpass over there, because I drove down here the other day on my own, vaguely around the time that we would be doing this, and the traffic backup over that overpass was horrible. So, what are the odds it's gonna be bad today? I don't know. But what I do know is I need these people next to me to get a move on so I can shimmy over. And I'll hold back slightly and give 204 a hole. Now, I won't lie, I mean, this bus still has its squeaks and creaks and groans and, well, not really groans, but like squeaks and creaks. I mean, that's fairly normal for a school bus. But I can tell by driving, it just, I don't know how to explain this, but the bus feels more youthful, if that makes any sort of coherent sense. I also did figure out the thing back there that was squeaking this morning, that was driving me absolutely insane. It was not the cage around the heater, it was a seat cushion. I'm not sure which one it is. Somewhere in the back. But as soon as I loaded up full of high schoolers, it stopped. So at that point I was like, okay, it's a seat cushion that's moving. It's loose or squeaking or something. But as soon as somebody's weight was on it, keeping it from moving, then it stopped. Got one bus in front of me and two behind me. Blinky, blinky, blinky. Oh, I'll tell you something else good about this bus. So, this, I think it was when they redesigned the, oh crap, redesigned the dashboard. I should have looked further left before I made that turn. And I got to go back to the right anyway because there's a truck stopped. Okay. So, not my brightest move ever. me get my nose back over here before somebody tries to cut me out. Yeah, that was not... Yeah, y'all please learn from that mistake I just made. Don't ever do that. I should have looked further around this post before I made that turn. And I didn't. I was following this bus. So there's a mistake of mine you can learn from. But what I was saying about this bus is, I think it's when they changed the instrument panel that the blinker on the new C2s is not steady. It's like dut 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 dut. It's never. Now the outside light is steady. If you watch the outside light, it's normal. But the sound it makes inside the instrument panel is not, and it makes me seriously irritated. Because I've like that bus right there, that one will do it. I have not driven that one, but I've driven 205, 210, 191, and those newer C2s all do it for some reason. They have that dut 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 dut. The blinker sound is not steady, whereas I think this 21 is the last year model that it is, and it's the last year model that has this instrument panel. So this would have been like the youngest bus I could have gotten that didn't have those minor irritations to drive me crazy. So that was one great thing about this bus when I got it. I was like, yay, it's new-ish. You know, it's only 4 years old, but it's just old enough to not have that crap and not get pulled for field trips. But it's just young enough that I can take it on trips if I go on trips, you know. With 99, I was always playing that limbo game of like, well, you know, we're driving 2 hours away, is that allowed? Because, you know, you're always supposed to use new-ish buses for maintenance reasons. And so sometimes they would let me take 99, sometimes I couldn't take 99, so I don't have to play that game anymore. I can just crank it up and go, which is good. I'm looking forward to that. I'm still not used to the fact that the brake pedal sits higher up than the throttle. Now I know, just hear me out, because I know how that sounds. You're probably thinking, isn't every vehicle ever like that? Well, no. 99, for whatever reason, the two pedals sat almost level with each other. So I could slide my foot, I could come back to idle on the throttle and slide my foot straight across onto the brake, and then come out of the brake and slide straight back onto the throttle. And that may have given me a bad habit, because most of the buses in our fleet are not like that. So now I'm getting in this bus, which is like most normal vehicles, where the brake pedal sits a little bit higher, and I keep catching my foot in the brake pedal just out of habit, because I'm trying to slide my foot across and not, I'm having to consciously think about lifting my foot past the pedal to move it over. Sounds trivial, but when you drive the same thing for a year and a half straight, you know, your brain develops these like subconscious habits that you don't realize you're making until you have to actively fight against them. And that's when things go sideways. It was a little unnerving the first time I reached for the brake and realized that my foot was stuck under it. That's not a nice feeling, but I recovered from it. And so now I'm pretty good at it. I mean, I may like bump the side of the pedal, but I don't get the trim of my boot would get stuck under it. I don't do that anymore much. Now it's just like my toe kind of bumps it until my foot can feel its way up the pedal and then push it. Which somebody commented about me saying the brake pedal on this bus was softer, and they said, you might want to get your brakes checked out. And I started thinking about it. That's probably not the best way I could have said that. I don't mean like the pads themselves feel soft. I mean the pedal axis that's activating the air is softer. It's not as difficult to push. The reason I noticed that was because 99's brake pedal was a bit like pushing into a brick wall. The pedal didn't really move a whole lot. You just kind of increased your pushing force and the bus slowed down quicker without the pedal moving a whole lot. It moved probably that much. Whereas this pedal, I guess the intensity is spaced different. So I'm not pushing a brick wall that far. You know, I'm pushing, it's softer, but I still have the same braking power. It's just spread out over a little bit more distance, which most of our C2s are like that. I'm not sure why the 2012s and 2014s for some reason have that really firm brake pedal. I don't know why. I don't know what they changed, but all I know is you get better feathering out of it in the newer ones, which is good. When I'm used to that, I prefer that. I remember the first couple times I drove 99 with that really stiff brake pedal, and I was like, I don't like this. But then I just got used to it because it's what I had. So the same concept applies for 171. Over time, I will get used to it because it's what I have. And I will figure out all of its little quirks and personality traits, which I probably could have picked up on some during my training, but I didn't, because at the time this was the only school bus I had ever driven, and I did not know at the time that they all had their own personalities. I thought they were all identical, and I had no basis for comparison because I had driven nothing else. So, you know, at that point I was like, well, okay, this is just what buses are like. And I didn't pick up on any like little personality quirks. Whereas, you know, the first 2 months of bus driving, I was subbing. So I spent a lot of time hopping from bus to bus. And that's when I kind of started learning that. I was like, okay, they are very much not the same. And then I got 99 and stayed there and got to know that bus, and now I'm getting to know another one. We are here at the high school. This air condition feels freaking awesome. Once I get parked, I'll probably, like once I turn the camera off, I'll probably crank it up to high. Look at all the high schoolers. I'm starting to suspect that there's less high schoolers, or at least less driving high schoolers this year. Because compared to what I'm used to seeing, that parking lot looks really empty. Now you may be looking at it and going, no it's not. But I'm seeing a lot of scattered open spots, especially up the sides and towards the front. Normally you don't get that. Normally it is packed out, and if you don't get there early enough for a front spot, well, tough luck. You got to go down and park by the stadium and just walk. And that's where all the bus kids get to flex on everybody, because they get free front door service. I say front door service, back door service. Right here is where we drop in the mornings. $20.25. I wonder if 82 realizes that one of his 8 ways is on. 2.
Lane. I'm just have it on. Have a copy of it.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
high school lane 2. So yeah, when I said we didn't have parking charts, apparently he took it upon himself to go in the office and print us copies. Thank you, Jabari. I think right there will be good for the time being. Fast idle switch is already on. Cool. So I need to park in lane 2 at the middle school, which is a little bit weird because I used to park in lane 1. This is what happens when I've been wearing the head mount. My hair goes kind of nuts and I get this like red spot on my forehead. It has a pad on it, like where it sits, but yeah, I can still feel it. But anyways, I'm just waiting at the high school now for all my kids to come out. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, feel free to hang out in the comments section. I try to go through and read everybody's comments. I'm not very good at it. I've gotten to the point now where YouTube doesn't notify me about some comments, and it doesn't notify me if I reply and then you reply to my reply, if that makes any sense. So I kind of have to go back to the video manually and like scroll through to read people's comments. YouTube's not very good about telling me, but I do try to read them. So feel free to drop a comment if you like. Probably gonna, I may throw my hat back on because my hair is kind of whacked. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Try to stay dry and stay cool. I'll catch you in the next one.